Hold on. This camera, chill. I'm on live because Spirit just kind of dragged me here for some reason, and they wanted me to title it, oh God, and his army wanted me to title it a debriefing. I don't know what we're debriefing on, but they're gonna tell me in a minute. Right now, I'm just making more cards like I usually be doing. I have an addiction to making fucking cards at this point. It's just a hobby at this point. Anyway, the number 13 is very significant. The number 28 is significant. And the number 24 is significant for someone or for multiple vessels in my collective right now. I don't really know what they want me to debrief on. Let's debrief on today. Today is officially the first day of the retrograde in the Mercury retrograde in Leo. And let me go ahead and just pull up an article about it, just so we can have some concrete information to the side of us as I am pulling these downloads from source. Because we need, I love divine confirmation, but I also like fact as well. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes both is always great. So let's look up everything as far as like today and all the way to, I think the Mercury retrograde in Leo ends. I don't know why I'm guessing, like I didn't write this down. Anyway, I'm about to look it up. Goddamn. My brain be blowing me sometimes. Okay. Mercury retrograde in Leo. All right. I'm going to go to people.com. That's where I'm going to get all my information from this article. So, people.com, if you were wondering. I'm going to read a little bit of this and then go back and forth with banter with Spirit. And yeah. So, let's read it. Mercury retrograde is Leo is stirring up drama, and 3 zodiac signs are in for a wild ride. That's such a title. If anybody is not hip on what the sign of Leo, like the actual zodiac sign, what it looks like this. That's how you draw it. Cause I do, me personally do have trouble remembering certain signs. Like I remember the Aquarius, I remember like Pisces. And I'm just now remembering like what Aries looks like, but sometimes some of the signs I do forget their symbol. Anyway, get ready for some unexpected drama. On July 18th, Mercury will station retrograde in Leo, where our egos are bound to take a hit. Think about it. As the planet of communication reverses through its proud and passionate fire sign, even the most confident personas could encounter a rude awakening. In theatrical and vivacious Leo, the messenger planet is all the more creative, expressive, and bold in its approach. This fire sign is, after all, ruled by the sun, which can explain why it often thrives on attention and recognition. Mercury in Leo is loud and full of enthusiasm. Your ideas feel larger than life, and you may even find yourself wanting to take the spotlight and explore your creative potential. This is the time to speak your truth, even if it feels like you're drawing all eyes on you. But wait, as Mercury stations retrograde, that confidence and flair can quickly turn into confusion, misunderstandings, and the usual technology mishaps. When Mercury retrogrades in Leo, things may not go as smoothly as we'd like, leaving us with no choice but to navigate misunderstandings, delayed responses, and perhaps an ego clash or two. Leo's need for praise can lead to issues in how we perceive or how we express ourselves. This can result in moments where you feel misunderstood, particularly in personal and creative endeavors. Whether it's through public speaking or social media posts, be especially mindful of your delivery, as this could be the time when you accidentally say the wrong thing to someone important, or when a message you thought was clear gets misinterpreted. Yeah, I already went through this a few times, and crazy it's only day 1. Anyway, on a brighter note, however, this is an excellent time to take a step back and reevaluate your creative direction. If you're a content creator, consider how you can maximize your potential. If you're a boss or an authority figure, reflect on your approach as a leader. Don't let your pride get in the way. In the meantime, read on for what Mercury retrograde in Leo has in store for your zodiac sign. We can get into that, but let's just take a pause and let that process in the brain. I guess Spirit wants me to kind of relay what I have been going through, and it's already the first day. Obviously, even though this is the first day, I feel like it's still, because it was on its way, I kind of was dealing with this like the day before and the day before. Like it was, you know, I'm not really sure how it's supposedly supposed to all the way affect my sign, because I'm really focused more on my rising, which is in Leo. So that's going to be interesting. Anyway, since Mercury is the planet of communication, it is going to affect how we communicate in general. And because it is in Leo, I have heard a lot of things on the internet, on the interwebs, on social media, on how that it will really heavily affect our romantic relationships. And it doesn't matter if you are in a monogamous, or you have multiple lovers, you know what I'm saying, or just, it'll affect your romantic relationships heavily. So I kind of did prepare for this retrograde a little bit, but even if I didn't all prepare, I wasn't scared, or I wasn't like like dreading the retrograde like how I used to when I was younger, because I honestly am excited for retrograde, because it's always a form of to be in retrospection, to be able to reflect on your unconscious habits that you might have formed in the present day or within the nearest past. Even I have had certain conversations or certain discourse or verbal conflicts with some individuals recently, whether it's literally been a person I literally had just met, or a person that like in my DMs or in a comment section, however, wherever these conversations have taken place. I have still noticed that in some of them, my delivery was not maybe received well, or what I was trying to say wasn't getting out the way I had hoped or what I thought it was going to be, and vice versa. I've noticed that the same with other people, like how they talk to me kind of threw me the fuck off, like, excuse me. But as we kept talking, I'm like, okay, that's what they meant, even though whatever the fuck you just said still threw me the fuck off, and I'm still kind of about you, or about the whole conversation. I can still get out of that emotion, because emotions are fleeting, and I can just be like, okay, well, I understand what they meant, and I understand how they were trying to do, but you still gotta be kind of weary, because some of these people you encounter with these conversations, it will be, yes, a misunderstanding, because they're still learning how to communicate to you, or just communicate in general, or just because of retrograde, or they can really like just be manipulative people. And I've experienced that too. Like, me literally by the end of a conversation, I'm apologizing and obviously taking accountability for what I had played in the conversation, whatever it was, high shock. And then realizing, hold on, I'm the only one who had apologized. They're forgiving me, but they started the argument. They threw me off. And they were the one with the misunderstanding. Like, bro, it's like, and I'm thinking of one specific conversation I had yesterday, and I'm just like, damn, bro, like, I'm not about to argue and go back and forth, you know what I'm saying? I'm not about to like, okay, and then because the old me would have been like, I really would have set it off. I really would have like upped the score. But as a maturing adult I am slowly learning to just let things go. And not for the sake of letting go and just letting shit slide. Just letting it go to like dead that shit, because I'm not giving you more of my energy when I know what the fuck you just did. Instead of taking accountability for pissing me off. Sorry, that sounds so terrible. Or instead of taking accountability for like disrupting my energy because you felt some type of way, you reversed everything you said in said conversation and got me to apologize to you for something I didn't start, because you had I'm not going to get too into detail about this conversation, because obviously, it's my life, it's my right to privacy. But it's like, during this retrograde, you're really going to reflect on how you talk to people, how other people are talking to you. It's really going to show you, like, yes, like, Mercury is heavily affecting everyone's throat chakra and how they're boldly communicating with people, because it is in the sign of Leo right now. Anyway, I just posted a new YouTube video on the channel, on my spiritual channel. If you haven't watched it, I would suggest to watch it, because they're all pretty much glow pulls, divine downloads from today, the first day of the Mercury retrograde. So if you definitely, I believe Aquarius is a fixed sign. Is it? Yes, I believe so. And I'm an Aquarius sun. So yes, it is. You said it's about to hit us fixed signs. All right. Now that you say that, you just helped me pivot into the rest of the article. We already just read the beginning of the article. Now we're going to read the part where it's saying how it will affect each sign. So I will take the time to read all of this. All right. This is how it's going to affect Aries. And mind you, this retrograde goes from March 20th to April 19th. Actually, no, this is how it's going to affect Aries within those months. Wait, what the hell? Hold on. Sorry. Scratch that. I forgot to tell y'all when it's going to end. I forgot. It doesn't matter. It don't matter. This is how it's going to affect Aries during this retrograde, okay? And remind you again, I'm reading all this information from people.com, from this article, okay? Aries. Never say never, Aries. Watch out for communication mishaps in your love life, as Mercury retrograde could bring exes back into the picture or worse. Stir up misunderstandings in your current relationships. If you're rekindling a romance, proceed with caution. Communications could lead to fireworks show of unnecessary drama, which is crazy because I'm an AriesMoon, LeoRising, Aquarius sun. All right, next sign, Taurus. Your home and personal life may feel chaotic during this retrograde period, Taurus. Mercury's backspin through Leo could stir up old family dramas, as it forces you to revisit unresolved issues and tensions swept under the rug. A conversation about your living situation or family vacation could easily get tangled in confusion. Clear the air, but don't rush into decisions. Let's go, Gemini. Gemini, you're ruled by Mercury. Your retrogrades always hit close to home. Gemini, whether it be your communication style or your travel plans, one thing's for sure. Delays are inevitable. Expect mixed messages and missed appointments, or perhaps the resurfacing of an old text thread from someone you'd rather forget. Double check all details before hitting send. Heavy on the Gemini, because y'all, wow. That mouth is wow. Okay. All right, Cancer. Watch your spending close. Watch your spending closely, Cancer. Financial plans could hit a snag during this retrograde, but it's not without a lesson or two. After all, in Leo, the messenger planet wants you to be confident and authentic and in your stability-seeking second house. This has a lot to do with your money, values, and sense of self-worth. Still try to hold off from signing contracts or making major decisions or making major purchases until the fog clears. All right, Leo, you're under the spotlight of this retrograde, but not in the way you hoped, Leo. With Mercury retrograde in your sign, you're not only reconsidering your self-image, but also your approach to relationships. You may revisit old ideas about your personal branding or how you're presenting yourself to the world. Hearing unexpected feedback is also likely. Still, don't rush into changes without clarifying details and logistics. Virgo. A lot's coming up to the surface, so it is okay to feel confused during this time, Virgo. Truth is, addition to being ruled by Mercury, especially receptive to its retrograde, this transit will ignite your 12th house of unconscious patterns, bringing forgotten messages and dreams to the forefront. Although this can be a powerful time for reflection and deep introspection, it's easy to become lost in thought. Your healing begins with clarity and peace of mind. Libra. Take some well-deserved time for yourself as friendships and social circles face communication breakdowns. Backspinning through your 11th house of social contributions, Mercury retrograde will likely trigger misunderstandings or bring old connections back into focus. Stay patient with your friends and colleagues and try your best not to rush into cliques or group affiliations. A big social event could also be rescheduled. Scorpio. Chin up and try your best to do your part, Scorpio. Mercury retrograde in Leo will not only influence your public persona, but also communications with your career. Shaking things up in your 10th house of authority, this can cause delays and misunderstandings in your professional life, so it's important to be extra careful and diligent with emails and negotiations. Details are bound to get lost in translation. Also, it's a great time to consider your long-term goals. Sagittarius. Your worldview is shifting unexpectedly, Sagittarius. Whether personally, professionally, or in your one-on-one relationships, Mercury retrograde urges you to be authentic in your pursuits. Are you happy? Moreover, be mindful of itineraries as travel plans may get delayed. The same goes for those of you working on a creative project. Take time to focus on the bigger picture and, more importantly, consider your personal fulfillment. Capricorn. How much of yourself are you willing to invest, Capricorn? Are you getting what you deserve in the future? Are you getting what you deserve in return? With Mercury retrograde and Leo shaking things up in your 8th house of mergers, joint ventures, and shared resources, you are more likely to face communications around hidden matters or joint ventures. Other resources of income are no exception. Don't rush into making promises about money or investments. Reconsider your plans with patience and clarity instead. Aquarius. Your commitments and relationships are under the spotlight of this retrograde transit, Aquarius. Mercury retrograde in Leo is not only bringing the past back around for a second look, but also encouraging you to take a closer look at how you communicate with partners and collaborators. Although starting new partnerships isn't necessarily suggested, it's a good time to renegotiate boundaries. Pisces. Sort out your priorities, Pisces. Mercury retrograde in Leo is shaking things up in your 6th house of health, work routines, and due diligence, which means you are more likely to experience delays of confusion around tasks and schedules. Still, it's a good time to revisit your old habits or routines and make necessary adjustments. Just make sure you communicate clearly with your coworkers. All right, I just went through the whole list of the zodiac. I hope you guys got something from this live. I'm not going to post this live on the page. I'm going to let it go in the archive, and I'm going to post it straight to YouTube. I love you guys, and keep shining. I love you.